Hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel. It's Locks and Chronicles and it's your girl ASYE baby. So you're welcome if it's your first time. Thanks for stopping, and if you're returning, you know you're the real MVPs. So it's a quick video. Well, it's meant to be a quick video. I didn't plan to record today, but I've had loads of requests on my DM in Instagram. I think it's that time of the year where people are having their social work university course interviews. So yeah, I'm really sorry if I didn't answer you personally. That's why I've come to do this video. I spent hours on Instagram yesterday trying to help everyone go through preparation for their social work interviews, and I'm really sorry, it's not easy for me to operate that way. So this video is going to be about social work university course interviews, preparing for your social work university course interview in the UK. I don't know if it might be applicable somewhere else. I think it might be, but this is specifically for the UK, and I'm going to be going through the questions that I had when I had my social work university course interview. So I did the MA in social work. I'm a newly qualified social worker. I'm still doing my ASYE, so it's all still very fresh. Yeah, and I'm working in adult mental health, precisely in a non-psychotic team. So yeah, we'll shoot through this quickly. I'm not going to go into details because I believe you're going to be doing your research. So I'm going to go through the questions and tips about what to study for your answers. That's what this video is about. So and it's going to be in two parts. I'm going to go through like questions that you might be asked and give you points about how to answer them. And I'm also going to talk about the challenges that social workers face at this time. So let's go through it. If this is what you're interested in, wait. Don't forget to subscribe. Click like on this video. Leave a comment on this video. Even if you're going to come and ask me more questions in my DM, leave a comment. Let YouTube know that this video is relevant. Please. Thank you. First things first, why do you want to study social work? So I believe that you would have been doing some research. I would suggest that you read about Social Work England. I would suggest that you read about Social Work England is the body that governs social work, that regulates social work and social workers in the UK. So yeah, just read up on them, just do a bit of research so that you're able to say, you're able to talk from an informed point of view. So yeah, also read your PCFs. So that you can link your answer to the PCFs. Also check the code of ethics of social work, because social work we practice using the law. So just check out some of the legislation that you might be calling upon when you're answering your questions. And then now I'm going to just go through how you can make it personal. For example, when I was having my own interview, when they asked me that question, I did some research on what social work is about, definition of social work, and then I said I kind of linked this to like my personal experience, my work experience. There is no work or study that you've done that does not relate to social work. So try and relate it to social work. For example, I used to be a carer. For example, I'd studied business decision management, and I just drew upon my IT skills. I said I believe that there's a lot of recording and reporting to do in social work. It is a legal requirement. I talked about my care experience and how that would be relevant in social work. I don't want to go into too much detail, but whatever you have been doing in your life up to this point, you can link it to social work. So just make it personal. So that is the first question that you would expect. I don't expect you to say I want to study social work so that I can help people. No, don't do that, even if that's one of the reasons. It's just cliche. Just try and make it personal and make it a bit more fun and interesting. So second question, how are you going to manage studying social work? How are you going to manage studying social work? Studying social work is a very stressful course. It's very intense. It's going to take a whole lot of your time. So I would suggest that you really think about this. It's not just about answering the question, but think about this so that you can have an answer that is really coming from a place of truth. So, for example, I called upon some of the things that I'm really good at. I said I'm a very organized person. I talked about my living expenses, that's already being taken care of. When I answered this question, I sort of talked about my savings, that I already have some savings, so I'm not going to be stressing about finances. I talked about my family support, that I've got support. I've done this kind of jobs before, very stressful. I've been in stressful jobs before, and I've been organized. I've been able to adapt. I've been able to manage. So that's how I answered that question. So the third question is, what are you actually bringing into social work? So this is kind of linked to the first and the second questions. So again, you talk about your experience, talk about who you actually are. So for example, I'm a Black African immigrants, so I'm bringing that into social work. My experiences as a minority also in the UK is going to help me appreciate diversity. I'll be able to work with people from the BAME community, but also I'll be able to appreciate diversity in a way that I'll be able to work with everyone, because diversity is beautiful. Also, I talked about my previous academic achievements and bringing all of that into social work, my previous employment experiences. So, if you've got any skills, if you've got anything that is relevant, just bring it all in. That's what you're bringing into social work. These are the main questions that you might be asked about social work. So the second part is, what challenges do social workers actually face? So I've got some points down here for you that you can go and study. So social work is facing really reduced funding, or sometimes even lack of funding, that is impacting directly on social workers. The resources that we are able to offer to people is really reduced in the UK. Social workers also face very tedious caseloads. So the caseloads are usually very high, usually almost very difficult to manage. So you talk about the high staff turnaround. People are always moving around because they're looking for better pastures, better jobs. So when people leave, the burden kind of comes upon you that are remaining. So that's another thing you can talk about. Social workers work with vulnerable people. This is one of the challenges that social workers face. And you, most of the time, have to help them in their most vulnerable moments. Very difficult situations that social workers have to deal with. You also have the stress coming from the job, because when you're helping people, you also have to look after your own self and your mental health. So you can discuss that also as something that social workers, challenges that social work and social workers face. The last but not the least, I think you can talk about legislation, because we practice under some legislative guidance and policies. These are always evolving and these are always changing, and you just have to keep on top of it. So you're always doing your research and making sure that you're practicing legally, that what you're advising, that the support you're giving is in line with the law. And this means that you have to keep on top of it. So these are some of the challenges that social workers face. I mean, by all means, study a bit more about this. I'm sure if you put it in Google, you'll find a lot more, but I'm just sharing with you how I answered some of the questions. So that is the second part. So before I finish this video, I just want to prepare you that most likely you would have had a case study sent to you before the actual interview. You go through it, you bring out the points, and most of the time what you need to study for your case study, they might ask you about what approach or how are you going to work with this difficult client or in this difficult situation. So I would say study some social work theories or approaches or methods. The ones that are very easy for you to study that you can call upon is working with clients in a person-centered way. So it is the person-centered approach. So read more about this, because you have to work with everyone according to their needs. Another thing you can read about is systems theory. So this is that every individual is kind of in a system, working within a system. So if you're going to work with an individual, you have to kind of look at what's happening around the individual to be able to understand exactly how to work with that individual. So that's just like summary, but you can read more about this person-centered and systems theory. You can also read social work theories, social work methods, social work approaches. This will help you to be able to discuss how to work with any client, so you'll be able to call upon this. You might also, just to prepare you, even if I think what's happening now is most of the interviews are virtual, and even if it's virtual, you might have to do a presentation, you might have to do a group assignment as well. So if you're presenting, just know that you don't need to. I think the most important thing that I want to tell you is that you're not yet social workers. You're not yet social workers, so they don't expect you to be able to talk using terminologies, social work terminologies. You know, they don't expect you to be perfect at this time. I think they just want to see the effort that you've put into doing a bit of research, and you know how you're able to actually present your case, because in social work you'll have to present things. When you become a social worker and you organize meetings or you arrange professional meetings, you still have to speak and present, or when you go to court. So I think they just want to see a bit of confidence and a bit of preparation. So I think that's it in a nutshell. If I've missed anything, if you know I've missed anything, please leave it in the comments so people can see it. If there's anything I have not covered, you can ask the question, but please bear in mind that I might not be able to answer every scenario. I will try my best, as I always do, but my job is very tasking and I'm a very busy person, so I apologize in advance. But please leave your comments. If you have any question, I will try my best to answer it. For all of you having your interviews very soon, I wish you the very best. Just relax and be confident. They don't expect you to know everything at this point, so you'll be fine. I promise you, you will be fine. Okay, and share the good news when you get your admission. Okay, so till I come your way next time, just enjoy yourself. Remember, be good, and also remember that I love you. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and the like button and share this video. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.